What's up, gamers and geeks? Matt here with That's Fair Podcasting and Gaming Geeks Live. And in this video, I'm going to ask you, what is possibly the current state of Mass Effect 5? I mean, we did have a teaser trailer that dropped, I believe, November 7th of 2023. And since then, a little bit of hype has kind of surrounded it. And we've had good news about that with the BioWare veteran Mike Gamble leading the whole thing is always good news. But when you put together their failures from Mass Effect Andromeda to Anthem to that just absolute dog shit Dragon Age to Veilguard, and then you also add in now the EA buyout, what could this mean for the future of Mass Effect and Mass Effect 5? Stay tuned. The Mass Effect franchise is one that is one of my favorites. I remember when I played the first Mass Effect all the way to the third one, it captured me. Commander Shepard's story was awesome. Now, I didn't get the ending that I kind of hoped for in the third one, but it was probably, in my opinion, the best trilogy of video games that I've ever played anyway. And I can just tell you this much, that a lot is riding on Mass Effect 5, especially to us loyal Mass Effect fans. But anyway, if you are new here, please feel free to subscribe to That's Fair Podcasting or Gaming Geeks Live, whichever you watch it on. Like the video, help us in that algorithm like you guys have been doing. And to all those jumping on and subscribing to That's Fair, thank you so much. It means the world to me. I sincerely appreciate it. And if you just want to watch this video, that's what means the most. So thank you for joining me. And again, I am Matt. But when Mass Effect Legendary Edition dropped, I believe in 2021, don't quote me on that, but when it dropped in 2021, it kind of rejuvenated me after a failed ass just shite that was that was Mass Effect Andromeda. Obviously, you can tell where I'm going with this, but you did have Anthem and Dragon Age to Veilguard following Andromeda that just absolutely failed, and now you can kind of understand why BioWare is in such turmoil. And it makes you wonder, ever since, I believe it was the Saudi company Public Investment Fund, Silver Lake Studios, and Affinity Partners by Jared Kushner, I believe Donald Trump's son-in-law, they bought out EA, and it makes you wonder what the future holds for BioWare, because right now, BioWare, I mean, are they going to be sold? Are they not going to be sold? Do they have enough clout from their past, from the games that they've made? Even though their last three have been absolute failures, let's be realistic here, man. BioWare hasn't made any money since Dragon Age Inquisition. There's no way they made any money since then. Their last three were just massive flops, and Dragon Age to Veilguard was the biggest turd of the three shits. I do know that Andrew Wilson remains the CEO, head of EA, even though they've been sold to these three different firms. And I also know that EA is in debt by $20 billion, and they need to make that money back quickly. And that makes you wonder, how much would BioWare be worth? Because with their last three video games that they released, again, I'll say it for the last time, you had Mass Effect Andromeda, Anthem, and Dragon Age to shit Veilguard. Those bombed, especially the last one bombed so bad that it makes you wonder, honestly, what EA must have seen in BioWare to keep them going this long. Because let's be honest, EA is merciful, man. They're ruthless. They're headhunters. But they did not chop the head off of BioWare yet. So there's got to be something there that keeps BioWare remaining valuable. With the last Mass Effect tanking in Andromeda, and it tanked bad, it is no mystery that BioWare needs a freaking win, man. I just know that it was left for dead after they made it with no DLC. They left the Quarians hanging. I wonder if they plan on just removing that and calling it fodder. I mean, hell, Disney's done that with a lot of the best Star Wars shit we've ever had. So I would literally call Mass Effect Andromeda fodder. It should have not had Mass Effect in the title. It should have just been called Andromeda and been its own game with new aliens. That might have been a hit, with an exception to the wonky-ass graphics upon release, of course. maybe one of the reasons that BioWare has managed to stay afloat with EA is the recent success of the Legendary Edition of the Mass Effect trilogy that launched in 2021. That was a huge hit. Now, I say the last time BioWare made money on a video game was Inquisition. Not true. They did make they sold a shit ton of Legendary Edition. However, you know, when you think about your failures in Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem, because I believe that was 2019 when Andromeda was 2017, you had to make up some ground here because those were massive failures that tanked so bad that whatever I think that the Mass Effect Trilogy Legendary Edition could bring probably ultimately didn't even cover those losses. And technically it kept BioWare in debt with EA. It's no doubt that public investment fund, the Saudi Arabia company that bought out EA, if BioWare's still a part of it, they're going to have BioWare under a fine-tooth and comb major microscope. This has to be a hit because I think that regardless of what's going on, EA still has some kind of faith in BioWare, otherwise they wouldn't be there. And I think Mass Effect 5 had better be a hit because if this isn't, even if we don't already see just a complete disappearance of BioWare, someone will probably buy them out. Mass Effect 5 better be a hit because if it isn't, it has to spell the end of BioWare. Dragon Age: The Veilguard. I loved that series deeply. I mean, I loved Dragon Age Origins. Dragon Age 2 is okay. Inquisition, I felt, was a little better than Dragon Age 2. But the Dragon Age series was a phenomenal series, a very underrated and underappreciated in some circles series. And Dragon Age: The Veilguard should have given BioWare some breathing room. But holy shit, man, it did the opposite with the preachy progressive bullshit, the pronouns, the I think the top surgery scars. If you don't respect pronouns, you had to pull a barb and do push-ups. If you called people by a gender, it was absolute preachy garbage. And you had all these journalists coming saying it was a return to form, when in fact it was not a return to form. It was absolute garbage, and that could have buried the Dragon Age series for good. I think it did. Even when they were in the process of making Dragon Age: The Veilguard, it was Dreadwolf. It had all these redos, and 50 people over the course of it, about 50 devs were laid off during the course of making this, but it didn't matter. Dragon Age still had to go be pushed forward. And ultimately, you got this slop that they gave us. And let's be realistic, man. The demographic of the majority of us gamers didn't even buy that piece of shit. So where, after those failures, especially Veilguard, where does this leave Mass Effect 5? That's the million-dollar question. Now, BioWare still has some life in them, given the history of the Mass Effects. Because let's be realistic, they're some of the most successful video game RPGs to ever hit the market, and their replay value on Legendary Edition is just sky high. And I think EA still sees pending value in BioWare because of the past with their success of the Mass Effects. And if they didn't, there's no doubt in my mind that they would have scrapped BioWare by now. Even working on a Mass Effect 5 wouldn't have been enough. There has to be something down the pipeline that shows EA that somehow BioWare is still worth holding on to, and they have faith, which gives me a little faith, but it gives me some. Another thing I think that keeps BioWare open is the television series that's coming out, Mass Effect. I think that in many ways, especially now that the state of Star Wars is in now with Disney, which is just shit, I think that they feel that possibly keeping BioWare open, the Mass Effects can on some level compete with the Star Wars. And with the way Disney is running Star Wars into the ground and absolutely just torching that franchise, I'm kind of compelled to agree that I think the Mass Effect series can literally compete with Star Wars. If you have a successful series and then you have a launch of Mass Effect 5 not long after that, that could be the road to redemption to BioWare and Mass Effect for sure. There is a lead writer on Mass Effect 5 named Mary DeMarle, who worked on Deus Ex, one of those Deus Ex. Anyway, I'll have it, above me. It'll be written above me, of course. But Mary DeMarle is a brilliant writer, and she's going to give the BioWare team, I know in my heart, a great boost when it comes to Mass Effect 5. That's a major positive to have Mary DeMarle working on this, because she is credited with a lot of wonderful writings on projects that have been very successful. So honestly, when you couple Married Tomorrow with Mike Gamble overseeing this and a few veteran developers that worked on the original trilogy, again, this gives me a lot of hope for Mass Effect 5 moving forward. So to come to a close, what we know is Mass Effect 5 is officially still in production, thank God. We know that EA hasn't given up on BioWare yet, because it is believed that they all believe, EA and BioWare believe, that the Mass Effect series can compete with Star Wars. And I agree now, at this juncture in where Star Wars is at now, I completely agree. So in my opinion, it has to happen right around the time the series takes off. Hopefully this series is popular. Hopefully it catches on, keeps progressive shit out. Hopefully that this BioWare team learned from those shit-lib idiots that just completely ruined our Dragon Age franchise. We may never see it again. And if we do, a different company is going to take it over, hopefully. I wouldn't mind a reboot and call Dragon Age the Veilguard fodder like you could Mass Effect Andromeda. But anyway, guys, that's what I have so far. I really am pulling for Mass Effect 5. I'm being skeptical that it will succeed, because this is do or die now. I mean, we're talking, you're beyond the 2-minute warning, man. It's fourth down and your Hail Mary's coming. So this is it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this. That's really all I have. Please subscribe to That's Fair Podcast and Gaming Geeks Live. Again, like the video, help us out. And if you don't do any of those things and you just decided to watch this pointless rant, thank you so much. And to all you faithful Mass Effect followers, all you gamers and geeks, all love to you, and I'm outro.